Hello, I'm Bill Steffen. The cold and snow are moving into West Michigan and throughout much of the Great Lakes region. This is quite a shot of cold air. And in fact, if you were to take this air mass and move it into January with the frozen ground and maybe snow on the ground, we'd be talking high temperatures here around 5 to 15 above, and some very significant lake effect snow going on. And some places are going to see some significant snow. All right, we got a number of graphics which come from the National Weather Service, which I am allowed to use. And as you can see here, we've got some counties in purple, Oceana, Mason, and Manistee counties. That's a winter weather advisory that's in effect there. You can see the legend over there on the right side. And then down toward Benton Harbor, that's a winter storm watch, which will become a winter storm warning here, not too distant future. And those areas are going to see some significant snow. Inland areas won't see much snow. There won't be much snow east of 131 and north of I-96. South of I-96, there'll be a little bit more during the day today as a clipper went by. If you were watching the Wisconsin-Washington football game, you could see the snow coming down there, especially toward the end of the game, and that's going to be passing through southern lower Michigan. But like I said, with the warm ground that we have here, a lot of that's going to be melting as it falls. All right, the next slide here. This is interesting. The National Weather Service does a chance of snow totals of 2 inches or more. And you can see that's as high as 50% down toward Jackson, 30% for Kalamazoo and Battle Creek, maybe 20% for Grand Rapids over to Lansing, and just 10% for Big Rapids. And this is right through the morning hours today into the early afternoon. We're starting out with rain here overnight, and then that transitions over to some snow as the colder air starts to move in. And then the Sunday night to Monday outlook calls for heavy snow, possibly west, and we'll talk more about that here in just a second. Watch for slick spots here, especially Monday morning. Now, this is from the National Weather Service up in Gaylord, and you can see the winter weather advisory extending from Ludington up toward the Traverse City area, and also to the east, where you're going to get a north wind that's going to be producing some lake effect snow coming into places like Rogers City, Alpena, maybe Escoda. And then up in the UP, the pink is a winter storm warning for up to a foot of snow. And we'll show you those areas here again in just a little bit. Counties in purple, including Escanaba and Newberry, under a winter weather advisory. Snowfall amounts to be less there. And so this is the graphic from the Gaylord National Weather Service. And if you want to read everything here, just pause the video for a second, and you can read through it and then start her back up again. Northern lower Michigan, the best chance of snow will be in the lakeshore counties west of Traverse City, so Leelanau on down toward about the Montague area. And then, of course, you can see in northeastern lower Michigan as well. And then the snow timing they have here, it goes through the day on Sunday, and probably even into early Monday, we could be seeing some snow falling in these areas. All right, let's move on and take a look at Marquette, the National Weather Service up there. If you're heading in that direction, there's going to be a significant storm. It's going to be cold enough for the snow to stick to the roads and really produce some slippery spots. Heavy snow is likely from Marquette County east to Munising and Grand Marais. And those areas could see 6 to 12 inches of snow accumulate on the grassy areas, not quite so much on the pavement. But much of the UP under a winter weather advisory, and that would be for less snow, anywhere from 1 to 4 or 5 inches. But the heaviest snow looks like it'll be from Marquette east to almost to Grand Marais. And then the graphic here, there's the area in yellow where the heavier snow is predicted. You can see it down there in parts of Benzie and Leelanau County, and also up across the UP from Marquette County off to the east. Other areas not seeing quite as much. And again, most of this is lake effect. They have in the graphic there up to 12 inches or up to 8 inches of snow, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody there had about a foot. And keep in mind, this is snowfall, not necessarily what accumulates, because some of this will be melting as it falls with the ground being as warm as it is. All right, now we head south, and we'll take a look at anybody that's in the counties that border Indiana are under the jurisdiction of the National Weather Service in northern Indiana. And this includes Berrien, Cass, St. Joseph, Branch counties. Hillsdale County is also part of that jurisdiction there. And so you can see this winter storm watch covers Benton Harbor, St. Joe, down to New Buffalo. LaPorte County, especially in Indiana, could get socked. And then back around to Chicago, there's a winter storm watch out for the Chicago area as well, especially right there toward the lake. All right, we'll take a look at the northern Indiana graphic. And again, a lot of words here, so if you want to pause this and take a look at it, be my guest. This is mostly lake effect from late Sunday afternoon through Monday evening. So Monday morning, it could be tough if you're trying to go to Chicago. You can see in that map there that the winter storm watch includes Cook County in Chicago, and then Lake Porter County, LaPorte County, up around the lake to Benton Harbor. And this will be significant. It says down there total snow accumulations of 6 to 12 inches with locally higher amounts. Gusty north to northwest winds resulting in some blowing and drifting snow, but not as much as you'd think because the snow is going to be kind of a wet, heavy snow. And I should probably mention that too. This is going to be a tough, for anybody along the lakeshore that does get accumulating snow, this is going to be a tough snow to shovel. For a couple of reasons. Number one, of course, it snows heavy and that can strain your heart. But second of all, it may very well become very icy with the temperatures heading down into the mid-20s here for Sunday night into early Monday morning. So beware of that. By the way, this is all going to melt. If you want to just stay inside, close the curtains, wait 3 or 4 days, it's all going to be gone. All right, let's go on to the next slide here. Saturday's high temperatures. Hey, Saturday, the high in Grand Rapids was 43, and that was the coldest temperature we've had for a high temperature since April the 10th. So that goes back a long ways. We also end a string of 17 out of 18 days with high temperatures in the 50s. So the weather's been remarkably consistent around here until this cold air mass came down. And you can see nobody got warmer than 44 here. Benton Harbor and South Haven Beach with the warmest temperatures. And at South Haven, that's, pretty close to the water, which still is around 50 degrees out there. Look down on the bottom. The high temperature in Gaylord was 31. Now, we're going to have a north wind tomorrow, so all that air that's up around Gaylord and Traverse City is going to be coming on down to Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo. So that's why we're expecting temperatures to hold pretty steady in the low to mid 30s during the day today and Monday, and probably for most of the day on Tuesday too. Picture there shows some people walking the pier, and there were a number of people doing that. The wind was light, and so the lake was fairly calm. Pretty good day to get out and do a walk. I did 2 miles of walking here during the afternoon. All right, let's go on and take a look at our sunrise and sunset time. There's a picture of a big ship coming through the channel at Muskegon. Sunrise now 7:27, the sunset at 5:24. It sets early. That goes to 5:08 on about December 9th. That's the earliest sunset that we had. But we're under 9 hours right now, or under 10 hours. We're at 9 hours and 57 minutes. Average high temperature down to 50 degrees, average low at 35. And there's your record high and low for the day. 5 years ago, we were in the mid to upper 70s here. 2003, we had a low temperature of just 16. Lake forecast here for the day tomorrow, and we saw a boat out there in fact, there were actually a couple of them in the channel for a while. It looks like people that were fishing. North wind picks up. In fact, we're going to go on a string right here where there's going to be 4 or 5 days with windy conditions, especially at the lake. Cold air coming over relatively warmer water produces bigger waves than when you have in spring, when you have warmer air coming over cold water. And with the water temperatures around 50 and air coming down that's quite cold, it's going to be below freezing even at the ground level here. So it's going to be quite a contrast. Waves should increase by late in the day to around 5 to 9 feet. And there's all the water temperatures there: 51 Port Sheldon Buoy, South Haven Buoy, and Reed's Lake. Small craft advisories in effect. Those will go to gale warnings here as the winds pick up here later this week. All right, let's go on here and talk about some severe weather. We did have a little bit of that in Georgia and South Carolina. Golf ball size hail fell near Anderson, South Carolina. We had 6 reports of severe hail and 2 reports of wind damage. Now, the next picture is quite interesting. Take a look at this. This is the severe weather outlook area for the day today and tomorrow. And this is actually Sunday into Monday. And look at Lake Michigan. It's green. That means that this is going to be convective snow showers that will be heavy enough to maybe produce a few flashes of lightning. So if you're along the lakeshore, keep an eye out for that. And especially if you're going to be down in northern Indiana, where this heavy band of lake effect snow will be coming down. I would not be surprised if there was a flash or two of lightning with that. On we go. Up next, we've got the 66-hour snowfall map. And look at those areas where there's going to be yellow and orange. And you can see the key off there. Yellow is anybody that gets more than 6 inches, and orange is 8 inches. There's actually some red up there in the UP, which is a foot of snow, or the next color, orange or reddish orange up there. You can see this is predominantly lake effect because it's all downwind from the lake. Green Bay doesn't get much of anything, maybe just a few flakes there, and that's about it. And you can see the lake effect snow going pretty good along the Lake Erie shoreline in northeast Ohio, Pennsylvania, and far western New York, and also to the east of Lake Ontario. So anybody traveling in that direction will run into that. It's going to be snowing all the way down to the Smoky Mountains, and I would not be surprised if there was actually a snowflake or two in places like Atlanta and Charlotte, North Carolina. So pretty interesting system here for this early in the season. Now let's zoom in a little bit, and this is the viewing area here. And this map right here is a little bit more aggressive in bringing the snow bands onshore. Some of our models keep the bands just a little bit offshore of Muskegon and Grand Haven for most of the event. But if this one turns out to be right, you can see that there's going to be some heavy snow. And I would not be surprised if there was heavy snow along the lakeshore, like I said, north of Montague and from western Allegan County on down toward Indiana. So anybody that's going to be driving down 196 or 31 along the lakeshore here is certainly going to have to watch out for some changing and sometimes treacherous conditions. All right, headlines. Most of today, Saturday, dry and cool. It was. We're getting that mix of rain to snow here for Saturday night and Sunday. Accumulating snow is possible, especially near the lakeshore, and significantly cold for really this coming week, with temperatures well below average here. All right, let's take a look at some temperatures today. We may struggle up to about 37 or 38 in Grand Rapids. If you're north of Grand Rapids, probably 35, and low temperature of 31. Any snow showers that fall today, especially during the morning, the snow will likely melt on the roads. So if you're heading out to church in the morning, I don't think that'll be too much of a problem for you. Humidity stays fairly high, only down to 75% in the afternoon. Winds pick up out of the north at 10 to 18 miles an hour. All right, now let's take a look at high temperatures across the area. This is for Sunday, and you can see the computer here's got it at around 40. I think we're going to be hard-pressed to make 40. I think we're going to be stuck in the mid-upper 30s during the day. And look how you get north, and it's even colder. Look in the UP, some temperatures there, 31, 32, 31. Certainly going to be a chilly day up there. And now we move on to Monday, and again, you can see the temperatures here only in the mid-30s during the day. It may reach 40 briefly in a couple spots near the lake, but I would say even at the lake, it's going to be hard-pressed to get above 38. And inland areas probably 34, 35 here during the afternoon, and that would be about it. 5-day forecast looks like this. Snow showers today. It's kind of interesting to put a percent chance of snow in. For Monday, I've got 60%. If I was in northern Indiana, say picking out Michigan City, Indiana, I'd probably go 90 or 100%. And then that tapers off to 40% here on Tuesday. We're back up into the mid-40s on Wednesday. If we get anything on Wednesday, and most areas will probably be dry Wednesday, it would be in the form of rain. And then we're back to seeing some sunshine here on Thursday. Tuesday is Veterans Day, and of course, we got the parade in Grand Rapids. It will be chilly, so bundle up if you're going down for that. Temperatures will probably only be in the low to mid-30s at that time. And the long-range outlook continues to warm us up. I think it's quite likely we'll see temperatures at least as warm as the mid-50s here as we head into mid November, and maybe even upper 50s. I would not be surprised if somebody stretched it to 60 here yet. So we're not done with the milder days. Keep in mind that's the start of the firearm deer season, and I do not think there will be tracking snow for the deer hunters here. Okay. Give the deer a fighting chance, I guess. Here's a look at the rainfall totals, and you can see the only dark green area there is in Arizona, where there will be numerous showers, most of them light. Not often they get heavy rain this time of year in the desert Southwest, but kind of a cloudy and cool pattern for them as well. Well, we'll bring Michelle in here, and very interesting, down where you are there in Birmingham, computer continues to give you low temperatures down in the low to mid 20s. The computers are giving temperatures pretty consistently below freezing in northern Florida.
There's going to be some cold nights leaving work the next couple days for sure.
Yeah, and it's, I think I mentioned this before. They're talking about, they had this phenomena down there. They had this iguana that was not native to the area. Somebody brought one here, and it's kind of proliferated. And these iguanas live up in the trees. And when it gets super cold, the iguanas fall out of the trees. They literally, it's raining iguanas. And then the iguanas look there they're like they're dead, and you shovel them off to the side or whatever. And then they wake up, and when it warms up again, and go back up in the trees. I guess they bounce like, the abominable, in that video that we show at Christmas time or whatever.
Do you remember what Grandpa Steffen used to say about snow?
Snow, snow, beautiful snow, slip in a piece and away you go.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he used to sing and play harmonica to I See the Moon and the Moon Sees Me, and many other songs. He was a very good harmonica player, by the way. And his brother was even better, Uncle Hank. And Felix could play harmonica. So he's back before we had cell phones to play on all day. People actually learned musical instruments and conversed with each other and had dinner together and all that. So what you got for us?
Now that we're in ice and snow season, and I know that a lot of our viewers are seniors, so fall protection people. So I write for personal injury attorneys part of the time. So slip and falls are always on my mind. So make sure that you've got good soles on the shoes of your feet. Make sure you've got the right types of shoes. Dress warm when you're going to get the mail or whatever. Bring your phone with you. Fall protection.
Good idea. Bring your phone with you. I slipped and fell in the parking lot at Wood TV, and I was very lucky. I had my phone with me where I could call downstairs and have somebody come up and pick up all the stuff that got strewn all over the parking lot and, get me back inside there. I got a pretty good bump out of that.
Yeah, that was a scary episode.
Yeah. Wound up going to the hospital to make sure I didn't have a concussion.
You know those commercials for Life Alert that were on years ago? I'm falling and I can't get up.
They're still out there. I saw
they?
a couple of them already. Yeah. They have
when I was a little
people.
kid, I was so afraid of falling and not being able to get up because of those commercials. No one explained to me that I was 7 years old and I didn't really have anything to worry about.
Yeah. I'm concerned about that. I would be concerned about that, especially if I slipped and fell in a road or on a very cold night where you might be getting hypothermia. And I do in the wintertime. I put on a coat and gloves before I go out to get the mail.
Yeah, smart. Okay, I found this in my house.
What was that?
I found it in the house. Why is this in my house?
I don't know. That's a picture of me, probably from high school. I would think that's kind of a high school picture there. Back then, all the smart geeks had plastic rimmed glasses, and the ties were still narrow. We didn't get into that real thick tie era until about the mid 70s, late 70s. The ties.
I found it in the buffet. So I've got his mother's, my grandma's dining room set, the dining room table, the china cabinet, and the buffet counter. And I found it in there. So I don't know if it came with the buffet or what, but I opened the drawer and I was like, and there's Dad in high school. All right.
And what's better to set the strained squash on the table than to put it on top of a picture of Bill Steffen, right? Neat.
Oh, okay. We've got Escanaba River Cam again. And these were the first flurries of the season. So this is 13 seconds long. We'll be right back. Let's watch together.
Very nice.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah,
I'm
that's very
trying to
nice.
think of what else we
Sherry,
can do
thank you
with
so
her
much for that.
videos. Yeah, she sends them and they're longer, and I cut them down for the show. But yeah, they're really, really lovely what she sends.
Yeah, we'll see if we can put more of them together here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
thanks, Joy, for
that's up in
sending.
Escanaba there, the Escanaba River. I've been up
Hmm.
there at least half a dozen times.
Hmm.
Pretty
Okay.
place. We had a nice picnic there one day along the river.
And a comment from Old Iron. Allegan and Kalamazoo had less rain this summer. You folk would get precipitation and we would have none.
That's true. There was a rain magnet in Battle Creek this summer. Seriously, there was a rain magnet, and all the rain, the showers, the storms went to Battle Creek. We were at one point in time, I think we had 10 inches more rain in Battle Creek for the summer than we had in Grand Rapids. I think Grand Rapids started to catch up a little bit at the end, but I was amazing. Storm after storm would dump rain on Battle Creek. And I would tell people they had a rain magnet there, and somebody else was spraying rain repellent over the rest of West Michigan. Yeah.
All right, Old Iron, thank you for the comment. And we
Mhm.
have from Sherry, Bill, thank you for all you do. It's dress warm today. Have a blessed day.
Sherry, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. When you do social media, when you do you sometimes you get a little bit of feedback when you do TV. I remember doing all these TV shows where I was the only one in the room. I would set up the camera on me. I would go and record. I would hit start. I would run in the green screen and do the show. And I'm talking to the wall. And then I would walk over, stop the tape, and then cut it and splice it so that it was the right length. And I would never know who was watching it or anything.
Well, that's the best way to do it because nearly 800 people, as of right now, watched our show yesterday. And if I
Neat.
were speaking to a room of 800 people, I would die. So not being able to see them is perfect.
That's true. I always liked an audience. I really did. I'd like to see their audience reaction. And I love kids. I remember the
And
first kid.
that's why there's one famous person in our house, and it's you.
The first speech I did was to a small Catholic school in southeast Grand Rapids, St. Francis, which isn't there anymore. But they had all the kids down there on the pavement, not on the pavement, on the tile, that they would have in gymnasiums and everything. I just had a great time talking to them and interacting with them, and I had them pretend they were a low pressure system and spin one way, and then that they were a high pressure system and spin the other way. We had a lot of fun with them.
When you're in elementary school, you spend a lot of time sitting on gymnasium floors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I did over an hour, and one of the teachers remarked, they sat still for an hour. That was amazing. So I shot my own slides, and I still have a lot of those here.
I remember your slideshow.
Mm-hmm. And someday I'm going to haul that out and take a look at them all again.
Okay, Restaurant Week in Grand Rapids is on. It's a great time to go try a new restaurant. Dad, what are your favorite restaurants in Grand Rapids?
Well, I of course like Nodo's. I mean, we've been to Nodo's many times. I've known the Nodo's family for a long time. When they built the new restaurant over there in the southeast side of town, you played piano there. They allowed you to play piano, and that was fantastic. I'm on the northwest side of town here, so we'll go to First Walk, we'll go to Amore, we'll go to Fricano's. A lot of neat places. I enjoy going out. I really do.
So Restaurant Week is fun because there's set menus, so it's affordable and you know exactly what it's going to cost, and you can try something new. So check it out. It's also a fundraiser for the community college culinary arts program, so you can feel good about it too.
Okay, and the website there is experiencegr.com.
Yeah, there were instructions for downloading the pass for it, and it was too much to put in a slide. So if you want more information, it's available at experiencegr.com.
Okay, sounds good.
And if you have restaurant suggestions for us, post them in the comments, please.
That would be great. Yeah, there's some really wonderful restaurants in Grand Rapids.
Oh, and I love seafood. So if you have a seafood recommendation, especially let me know for the next time I'm in town.
Leo's is good downtown. Been there. I get there a time or two every year, not as often as I'd like. A couple others downtown that are quite good too.
Okay, and this is a shameless plug for our friend Craig Rich, who's going to be signing books at this event. It is Nautical Night at the Holland Museum. They're going to have speakers and activities and displays with a nautical theme on the 10th, and it sounds really cool. 4 to 7 at the Holland Museum.
Okay, and did you say he wrote a book?
Yeah, and he's going to be there signing it.
Okay, and where's
Among
this?
others, I think there's going to be a couple of authors there.
Okay.
His books are on shipwrecks.
So this is Monday night and at the Holland Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and there's no admission charge. You can just walk right in.
Set sail for an evening of nautical adventure this free second Monday. Sounds like no.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah, Craig has helped me out quite a bit before. He is the nautical expert here, and
Yeah, he really knows his stuff.
shipwrecks, he's the guy to talk to.
So this one time in college, so I'm friends with his daughter. We've been friends since college. And this one time in college, he was on the cover of Holland Senior Times, and I made fun of her. And like the next month, you were on the cover of it.
Oh, I was on the cover of City Times once. Was it Senior Times, right?
Yeah, Senior Times.
Yep, I made the cover of that, and of course the cover of Grand Rapids Magazine, which was cool, and a couple others I've made, which is interesting. I've done some fun things in my life.
Okay, it'll be fun if you know the answer to today's trivia question. This scientist was awarded the 1921 Nobel Prize for Physics for his explanation of the photoelectric effect. The German-born turned Swiss physicist was most known for his theory of relativity.
Well, I'm no Einstein, so I probably don't know the answer.
Very good.
It is Albert Einstein.
It is. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
So,
interesting.
think it might have been his birthday, and I forgot to make that part of the question. I think November 9 is his birthday.
And
That's
of course,
the only thing that makes sense.
he eventually crossed the Atlantic Ocean and came to the United States. Smart guy.
And this beautiful one of the fall colors from Bernie Engel, also in Holland.
I have a tree that's kind of similar to that, where it's got these holes there where branches were kind of cut off, and it's been kind of hollowed out a little bit, and the squirrels kind of hide in there.
I love the detail, and the color is so beautiful.
You get some really neat days when it's gray with the gray clouds, and the trees get kind of damp or wet, and they have that dark streaking or whatever.
We get the color change down here too, but it's nothing like it is in Michigan.
I raked up a couple of bags of leaves yesterday, so that was it's kind of neat. The wind was fairly light; it wasn't blowing them all over the place. You could set the bag down and fill it up easily.
And John Scully, thank you for the photo showing us what's going on in Muskegon.
A little long shot there, and a lot of dusky sundown. The clouds moving in there. A very wintry looking scene. Yes. By the way, everything kind of lit up there a second. I should mention that if you get a really heavy amount of snow, if you're, let's say, in Berrien County or down in northern Indiana, we do have people that watch our videos that aren't necessarily right in West Michigan, that are in other places. But
yeah, we're surprisingly diverse. Quite a lot of the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah,
Hey, everybody.
Yes, that's true. I want people to keep in mind that it's not impossible. This is going to be a heavy enough snow that it could snap some power lines or maybe bring down a few tree limbs. So beware of that. There's a lot of, not many, but there are some trees that still have their leaves on, and that could be an issue.
And time to do your winter kits for your home and for your car, your flashlights, your water supply, all that.
Yep, I already got my scraper and my brush ready to go. And we'll see how things work.
Do you have a giant broom?
Pardon me?
So you need the scraper, but then you need a big giant broom so that when there's a foot of snow on your car, you can just go. Yeah,
you should have seen you should have seen us clear snow from the satellite dishes at the TV station. You have these gigantic satellite dishes if you've ever gone by one of the TV stations before. And we had to go out there with a broom with an extended handle, and I was afraid this thing was going to like take off in a strong wind. But we would snow out of there.
Especially when I was young and I wasn't fancy enough to have covered parking, you got to have the giant broom.
Nowadays, they can tilt the the satellite dishes, and then the snow will fall out, or they have a heating element on there to heat the snow up and melt it. Ooh, pretty shot of the moon.
Yep. Speaking of, I see the moon.
Yes. Well, John is going to be seeing the not the moon, but the snow up there in Benzie County, and you should be able to get us some nice pictures of that. This was, of course, as I mentioned, the biggest and brightest full moon of 2025. The full moon of early December will also be one that's fairly decent sized. But
that's really detailed picture.
It really is very nice. The seas, they call them, the mares. So it
still boggles my mind that humans walked on it and that we don't go back every second we can.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? We're going to go to Mars next, according to Elon Musk.
Hope so.
Yeah, see what's there. It's interesting because all the moons in our solar system have a name except for our moon. It's just the moon. It's not called, Frank or Bertha or anything like that. It's just the moon. Interesting.
Okay, so lots of new subscribers in the last day. So welcome, new people. And we would love to put your content on the show. If you've got a comment or a photo or a video, send it to us at bill@billsteffen.com. We would love to put it on the show. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hitting subscribe tells the YouTubes to bump up the show in the algorithm. So that helps us too. It doesn't cost you anything, and we'd really appreciate it.
And I'll second that. In the meantime, I hope you have yourself a great start to the week here, and be careful out there with the snow coming down. Initially, it will be melting, but as temperatures fall, like I said, some slippery spots for sure. And stay up with later forecasts as we continue to bring you updates on what's going on across the area. We'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks for watching.